All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are embarking on a truly fascinating philosophical journey into a profound piece of wisdom known as the eighth word. We're going to explore a pretty mind-bending concept, how simply shifting your perspective doesn't just, change your mood, it literally changes reality itself. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer chaos of the world, you are absolutely going to want to pay close attention to where we go today.
So let's just dive right into this by posing a really fundamental question, one that sits right at the heart of the human experience. Why did two people looking at the exact same scene see completely different things? Imagine two people standing at the edge of a dense, dark forest. One person is trembling, right? They're seeing only hidden dangers and threats lurking in the dark. But the other person looks at those exact same shadows and sees this thriving ecosystem full of breathtaking beauty and quiet mystery. Now, the real difference here isn't the landscape in front of them. The landscape is totally neutral. The difference is entirely in the heart and the mind of the person interpreting it.
And that brings us to Chapter 1, Two Different Perspectives and the Absolute Power of Mindset.
We're going to look at an incredibly powerful allegory about two totally distinct mindsets confronting the exact same terrifying reality. Just think about the stark contrast between these two mindsets for a second. Imagine two brothers facing an identical, overwhelming crisis. The mindset of only fear completely paralyzes a person. They view the world as this hostile, chaotic place where they are utterly, hopelessly alone. But contrast that with the mindset of order and mercy. The second brother looks at the exact same terrifying scene, but instead of panicking, he recognizes a divine invitation. He looks right past that immediate, in-your-face danger, and he senses an underlying order and a hidden mercy orchestrating the whole event. It's wild to see how their inner worlds completely dictate their outer survival.
Which leads perfectly into Chapter 2, the allegory in the well and facing the monsters. Let's look at this famous allegory of a fortunate brother who falls into a terrifying well. Just picture this. At the bottom waits a fierce dragon. Halfway down, he manages to grab onto a tree growing out of the well's wall. But above him, a roaring lion blocking the exit. And, as if that wasn't already enough of a nightmare, two mice, one white and one black, are slowly gnawing at the roots of the very tree he's clinging to. Now, obviously, this isn't just some fairy tale. It's a brilliant map of the human condition. Think about how perfectly these physical threats map directly to our own modern anxieties. The well he falls into, that represents the world we're born into. The lion above and the dragon below represent death, the passage of time, and the sudden disasters of life that we all inevitably face. And that tree he's clinging to for dear life represents our lifespan and the worldly bounties we try so hard to hold on to. All while those white and black mice, which represent day and night, relentlessly gnawing away at our time. Let's move to Chapter 3, The Secret Whispered by Fruits, and a Miraculous Discovery.
So our hero, the fortunate brother, is literally hanging over a dragon with a line above him, and his lifeline is being eaten away. I mean, the natural response is sheer panic, right? But hanging there, facing that absolute terror, he does something extraordinary. He stops, and he carefully observes his surroundings. In doing so, he notices something physically impossible about his situation. He realizes he's holding onto a single fig tree, but it is displaying the fruits of many, many different trees. It has apples, pomegranates, grapes, all growing from the exact same branch. This surreal detail is the ultimate game changer. He uses his intellect and realizes, hey, these diverse fruits cannot possibly belong to a random, unowned wild tree. They must be placed there intentionally. This proves to him that these fruits are merely samples, little glimpses of far greater lasting bounties provided by an unseen, merciful ruler.
And this brings us to Chapter 4, The Key That Unlocks, and the Shift in the Heart.
See, the brother realizes he isn't just some random victim in a chaotic well. He's a guest in a strangely designed testing ground, and we can break down his psychological progression perfectly into 4 steps. Step 1, he observes carefully, totally defying the instinct to panic. Step 2, he realizes the world is not unowned. There's a master behind the curtain. Step 3, this sudden awareness of an intentional, merciful design blossoms into a profound love and a deep connection to that unseen master. And finally, step 4, having felt that love, he takes powerful, spiritual action. He prays.
And listen to the prayer he utters in that moment of absolute clarity. I take refuge in your protection. I am your servant. I seek your pleasure. I am looking for you.
This exact realization, this humble submission to the unseen, merciful owner of the well, is the climactic turning point of the entire story. It is the actual key that unlocks the talisman of the universe. Just by uttering these words, he shifts from a passive victim of circumstance to an active seeker of truth.
Okay, Chapter 5. Transformation from enemy to servant and a completely new reality. The very second he utters that prayer and turns that key, a breathtaking physical and psychological transformation occurs. The solid wall of the dark well suddenly opens up, becoming a door to a beautiful, expansive garden. The terrifying dragon's mouth literally transforms into a doorway leading to safety. Now, notice something absolutely crucial here. Faith doesn't magically erase the lion or the dragon from existence. They don't just vanish into thin air. No way. Rather, faith completely transforms the brothers' relationship to them. It strips these hardships of their hostility so they become meaningful servants and guides in his spiritual journey, rather than random cruel enemies.
Finally, our last section, find your own talisman and applying the lesson.
You know, it's so easy to look at the brother in the well as just a cool little story, but I want you to connect this directly back to your own everyday life. Because the truth is, we are all in that well. We all face the roaring lions of our careers, the dragons of our health or finances, and the relentless ticking clock of day and night. The key to the talisman is reading your world as owned and merciful. It's about looking carefully at the simple everyday blessings all around you. A glass of clean water, a piece of fresh fruit, the air in your lungs, your health, your family. Don't just love them purely for worldly pleasure. Recognize them as the fruits on that fig tree in the well. They are intentional samples sent by a merciful owner, whispering a reminder that you are not alone in the dark.
So I want to leave you with this final lingering thought. Which blessing will you read as a sign today? I really encourage you to step out of your own well of fear and anxiety. Actively look for that greater mercy in your daily life. Because the moment you change how you look at the monsters and the blessings in your life, the walls of your well might just open up into a garden. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep observing, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.